All right, and here we go. We're going to be talking about our doing some sampling procedures and some random sampling procedures that we took some notes on before. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to specifically talk about what is a simple random sample and the difference between a stratified random sample and then finally a cluster random sample. And so we have this example. A factory runs 24 hours a day producing wood pencils, okay, on 3 8-hour shifts, okay, day, evening, and night. In the last stage of manufacturing, the pencils are packed in boxes of 10, okay, so they're boxed in. I'm going to put a box around there, in pencils each. Each day, we're going to take a sample of 300 pencils, okay, so we're going to take a sample of 300 pencils, and that's what we're going to do. So in order to do the first one, a simple random sample, is we're going to be taking a population and we're going to be taking values that have equally amount chance of doing that, and we're going to take those. And so from here, we are going to be taking the population, which is actually our pencils, all right, on the day. And so what we need to do is we need to label all the pencils from 1 to n, whatever that may be. Next, we want to do is we want to randomly select these. So we're going to use a random number generator. Okay, random number generator to select them. And the third thing is we're going to, all right, use a random number generator. All right, and we're going to use the random number generator to select. All right, we're going to use them to select 300 unique numbers. Now, when we talk about these unique numbers, this means no repeated numbers, so no repeats. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. So to select 300 unique numbers, no repeats. These numbers will be used to identify pencils to be inspected. And that's what we do. That would be a simple random sample. All right, every pencil has an opportunity to be selected, all right, at the same chance, and we would inspect all of those. That would be a hefty task, but that's what we would do if we want to do a simple random sample. Another one, it would be a strata sample. Now, when you talk about a strata sample says, okay, you have your population. In this case, we have pencils. And there's something with these pencils in this population that makes them a little weird. So what we would do is we would actually take this population and we would divide it up, okay, into different strata, because we think that there is something unique about this population that may make our values a little skewed. So we want to try to make sure that we will eliminate getting a certain large number of one quantity versus another. And that would be, for example, I'm guessing the shifts. So for example, there are pencils made during the day, there are pencils made during the evening, all right, and there's pencils being made in the night. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take actually a random sample, all right, an RS, a random sample of each one of these strata, all right, each one of these strata. And we're going to take 100 in each one of these groups, okay? And so we're going to take a random sample of 100 in each one of these groupings, in these strata. We call these strata. And so how would we do this? Well, the first thing is we would label all the pencils in, or maybe we want to first say, we're going to separate the pencils into 3 groups. Maybe we first want to do that. All right. Separate pencils into 3 groups. And those are those made during the day, evening, and overnight. Okay. From there, we're going to label each group of pencils 1 to n. All right, 1 to n. Okay, now from here, we're going to use a random number generator. Okay, we're going to use a random number generator. All right, and if we're going to continue this, to select, I'm just separating this so you know the 3 different ways we're going to do it. To select 100 unique numbers in each group. Okay, these numbers, once again, will be used to identify, all right, pencils to be inspected. And I probably don't have to write this on, but I'm just going to write this one more time, just so you know. All right, so we're going to select 100 unique numbers in each group. Once again, the unique numbers means no repeats of numbers. All right, no repeats. In each group, these numbers will be used to identify the pencils to be inspected. Okay, and that's Strata. All right, that's Strata. The next one we have is clusters, okay, as a cluster. Now, a cluster sample is where we have, all right, a population. And in this population, we identify there's clusters. There's clusters of different things in the population that actually make up true aspects of this population. Now, in this, what are the clusters of things that we have? Well, that is probably the boxes of, all right, pencils. And so what we can do for a cluster sampling is that we label all the boxes of pencils, all right, 1 to n, however many there are, 1 to n. Now from here, we're going to use, once again, a random number generator. And then from there, we will select, all right, select, well, we need 300 pencils and we have 10 in each box, okay, boxes of 10 pencils, that's what you call it was up there, all right, and so we're going to select 30 unique numbers, all right, unique numbers, and then from here, these represent these will indicate, all right, these will indicate which boxes of pencils that will be inspected. Now, in this one, we talk about that, all right, is that all the boxes in the pencils will be inspected, which boxes of pencils will be inspected. So we're actually going to be taking all the pencils in the boxes, all right, will be inspected, instead of these where we're just taking a sample, all right, from each strata that will be inspected, okay? Because we're only taking 100 of this grouping. But here, the 3 unique numbers, all the pencils will be inspected here. Now, explain why an SRS of 300 may not be preferable method. Well, that would be very tough, okay? Labeling all the pencils and then trying to identify and keeping those straight, that would be very, very difficult. And so maybe not something we would do. All right, so it's difficult. Okay, managing and labeling all pencils. All right, so that might not be the best option to do. All right, so there's some difficulty to that. Explain the benefit of using a strata sample and the benefit of using a cluster sample. Well, a cluster sample would actually be pretty easy to get your random sample, okay, because it probably is easier to keep the boxes straight that you're doing. And so with a cluster sample, A cluster sample is easier to identify and select, all right, pencils to be inspected. However, though this is maybe a little better and easier, a strata sample, all right, actually might give us a better indication of quality of the pencils and where an overall quality. Strata sample may give us a better um, uh, level of quality, okay, as pencil quality may be affected by shift, and this would guarantee all right, we choose an equal number from each shift, okay? And that is what we have there, okay? And so that actually was where strata and cluster differ, all right? Clusters are easier to get, okay? However, a strata would actually create probably a better level of quality, give us less variation, all right? Less variation when we do it. All right, well, there is our one example of using simple random samples, strata, and clusters. I hope this example helps you out and hopefully helps you better understand these sampling methods. All right, good luck and God bless the rest of your problems.